from the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com. You're listening to the Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Bryan Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
All right. It's Bryan, Vinny, and Granny Show here, December 8, 2019, figure4online.com/wrestlingobserver.com. Hey, we got NWA World Championship Wrestling from 30 years ago. And how many people are listening to this show for NWA from 30 years ago? Because I'm about sick of it. Between this and Nitro, which is thankfully almost over, and this Retro Raw, this old stuff ain't doing it for me right now.
It has not been as much fun.
No, it's not fun. And you know what? There was a time where, like, Raw was awful, SmackDown was awful, TNA sucked. And, like, I could look at some of the old stuff, and, man, there was some good stuff back in the day. Now, there's so much good wrestling out there between the Wednesday Night Wars and when stuff is good on Raw and SmackDown, which is rare, New Japan, the NWA Power Show, AW Dark. I don't need to watch old stuff that's not any good. It's a waste of my time. So we'll see how this thing goes. But we can discuss that later. Granny's here on the line right now. She's all ready to go tonight. What's going on, Granny?
Well, you want to hear a little bit of my week?
I'm just dying to hear a little bit of your week, Granny.
I had to go to 2 specialists.
For your foot.
My toe.
Yeah, your toe. Just part of your foot.
I run around the house sometimes with one shoe on and one off because of my difference in the foot. Anyway, so I stubbed my toe twice.
Oh, no.
And
you know what's funny? Let me stop you for a second, Granny. I also have a gimmick toe. My left big toe it's going on like 3 years now. I don't even know what happened. I was just doing jiu-jitsu one day, and it wasn't even like I did something that hurt. I just all of a sudden realized my toe hurts, and it kept hurting, and it literally has never gotten better. I've gone in, they've x-rayed the thing. I have no idea what's wrong with it. It doesn't bend back as far as the other one, and it just, it hurts. And for some reason, that's always the only toe that I stub. I never stub my right big toe. It's always my left big toe that accidentally bonks into something, and then things just get worse. So I understand your pain, Granny.
Very interesting.
I feel your pain.
Anyway, the third time I stubbed it.
Literally.
It broke the toenail.
Oh!
So I go into...
Now, what do you mean by it broke the toenail?
It cracked the toenail.
Okay,
so I go in for a pedicure at the senior center, and she said, I'm not touching you. You better go find out if that's infected.
Wise podiatrist. Or manicurist.
You want to know another story, Granny?
No.
It's about my toe and my toenail, just like yours. When I was a kid, probably about 8th, 9th grade, I was over at Chris Kelly's house, and believe it or not, everybody, I was playing basketball.
Wow.
And somebody in the middle of this game, they stepped on my foot and twisted to turn at the same time. Same toe, by the way. It hurt so bad, and I went home and I took my shoe off, and my toe, the nail on my big toe had turned black. And then a couple of days later, the entire toenail fell off. So I had no toenail on my big toe. And it just eventually grew back like normal.
Happy to hear.
Like a salamander. But that sounds like what happened to you, Granny. Your toenail was in danger of falling off of your bad toe. Right?
Yeah, now I quit being interested in what I was talking about.
Okay, so you go to the doctor, and what do they say about your big toe?
Well, the first specialist I went to, I had gone to before that helped me a little bit. He didn't know for nothing. He couldn't tell if it was infected or not. So he
what kind of a specialist is this?
Yeah. So he said, well, I'll set up an appointment for another one. So a couple days later, I go in and I meet this woman doctor, and I'm not kidding. I love her.
Oh, good.
She helped me with my...
I could not believe my ears when I heard this one, by the way.
Yeah. She helped me, and she just helped me so much, and I just love her.
Yeah, Granny sends me a message on Facebook. So for those of you that last week saw Granny do the sad face, and it's like Granny is feeling sad. It was after the visit to the first doctor, right, Granny?
Well, not really.
Really?
It didn't have anything to do with the toe.
Oh, well, what did it have to do with?
In a sort. I'm not going to tell you
Well, I'm only your grandson.
on the air.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Anyway, forget it.
Okay. But are you over that now? You feeling happy again?
So.
Okay. So your toe, you told me that you had regained faith in doctors.
Yep.
That I could not believe.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't hardly believe it either, but she was so thorough and so nice that it was just great.
Okay.
And my toe was not infected.
All right. So then what did she tell you to do? What are you doing for your toe?
Well, I'm just going to put a Band-Aid on and let it do whatever it wants to. But then she gave me advice on some other things, too, that really helped.
Helped your toe or just helped you?
Helped my health.
Okay. All right. Maybe some vitamin D?
She's not that type of doctor.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Well.
Anyway, Vinny,
Yes.
on the questions today, I forgot to put them in there till, 3 o'clock this afternoon?
Yeah, I had people on Observer Live, Granny. They were sending me messages during the Observer live show saying, is Granny okay? She hasn't posted anything on Facebook today.
But I wanted to tell you, Vinny, there's quite a few wrestling ones on there tonight, so you can skip
Whatever. Let's do them all. Who cares?
I try to use my best judgment and skip the bad questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vinny's best judgment. He asked you about depression last week. How to cure it.
It never goes well. I don't have any judgment.
All righty.
I'm judgmental, but I don't have any judgment. Well, we begin. Joe Curtis Rendell. I guess this is okay. Hey, Granny, what's the best way of recovering from a career setback? Adding, hope you've had a great week.
Try and try again.
Try again.
Yes.
That's all you can do.
Marcelo Crow. Granny, I have no questions. I just heard you had a bad day recently and hope you have many good ones to come. I hope Bryan comes over in his redfish outfit to cheer you up.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you.
Tim Page, a top fan. Did any of you watch the show Small Wonder with Vicky the Robot?
Oh, God. Wretched.
It was one of the worst shows ever.
Yeah, I have no memory of it other than it sucks.
I actually do. It's significantly worse than most of the TV shows we review on here that we hate.
And I never heard of it.
Bless you. You've been
It was
blessed by the
terrible,
Lord.
Granny. You were busy watching good shows like Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
Reese Woosnam. What moment in Bryan's life has made you most proud of him?
Oh, where to begin?
Yeah, where to begin?
This could be a full show. It's going to be a year-long series.
Take me about a half hour to figure it out.
That's what I like to hear, Granny. Name one thing.
Oh, gosh.
He married up.
Well, yeah.
Being a nice dad.
Oh.
Aw.
Being a good dad.
That's a very good thing to be called.
You know what's funny is I posted something on Twitter today saying I'd never met someone who loved Christmas as much as Paisley. And I got all this feedback from people that are like, well, what about Mick Foley? And I guess to be fair, I have met Mick Foley, but I was talking about in my life, like people that I've met, that I am associated with on a daily basis.
Bryan, you're not allowed to just be happy about something.
No,
Someone must argue with you about everything.
Can't
at all
believe
times.
someone didn't mention AEW or something in the middle of this, but she had so much fun. We went to
Or Paisley's demos on Christmas.
You know that church, Granny, that's kind of really close to your house that has all the lights?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man, she had the time of her life. She kind of cared about Christmas last year. The year before, she didn't know what was going on. And the year before that, she was like a zygote. This was the first year that she gets it now. And my God, we went to Frost Donuts.
Oh, now I'm excited.
Yeah.
Frost Donuts are awesome, everybody.
They announced that Elsa from Frozen was going to be there. And she's super into Frozen. She doesn't understand a thing about the movie, but she wants to watch the movie every single day. And she heard Elsa was there. And like we had to go see Elsa. And this Elsa looked nothing like the Elsa in the movie.
She wasn't animated?
Which would be difficult because it wasn't a cartoon. Yeah. But even in human form, looked nothing like her. But still, she was so happy to meet this woman. I can't even explain it. And then we're walking down the road getting ready because they had this wacky parade at Mill Creek Town Center. All of a sudden she turns around and there's Santa. And like for the first time in her life, it was like a legit celebrity walked by. She was starstruck by Santa. She was just frozen. She couldn't even move. That was Santa right in front of her. It was just the greatest. It was the greatest. I wanted to have like 15 kids after this moment.
Has she sat on his lap yet?
Successfully? No. We haven't tried this year. Last year, she was not into this
year
fat, jolly elf.
She'll love it, Brian.
Well, we'll see. I'm not sold on it quite yet.
This next reader, listener, whatever, identifies himself as Talbert Sheepstealer.
Why do you question that, Vinny? Have you heard the names on Granny's Facebook?
And one of them is Talbert. In fact, maybe Talbert. Regardless. Granny, which wrestler, in your opinion, is the biggest geek?
Oh,
Bless up.
where to begin?
All of them,
Even The Undertaker?
except The Undertaker.
She thought about that one, though.
Hey, Granny, have you ever noticed that on the back of my new book, 100 Things that WWE Fans Should Know and Do Before They Die, available for yourself or a loved one in their Christmas stocking right now from Amazon.com and fine booksellers. On the back of the book, there's The Undertaker.
Didn't notice.
Whatever happened to you reading one of the entries every week?
I just haven't got to them.
It is a busy time of year.
Yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get to it.
Now's the time, Granny. I need some Christmas sales.
Okay.
It's awards. It's also Observer Awards period.
Oh, okay.
Need to get some votes.
Matt Loveridge, a top fan. What are your predictions for the world in 10 years' time?
Doom.
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 Granny, listen. You started doing this show in 2005 or 2006.
Was that when it was?
It was like 2006. I promise you in 2006, you probably said in 10 years it'll be Doom. That was 3 years ago, and there hasn't been Doom yet.
Well, it's because I don't know any predictions, good or bad.
When in doubt, go Doom.
Yeah, when in doubt, predict Doom.
Yeah.
Paul Ryan McPherson. Are there any newer musicians from the last 5 years or so that you are a fan of?
No.
I think you could ask this question of anyone in their 80s, and the answer would always be no.
True.
There's a wrestling question. I'll skip that.
Ow.
What happened?
Yeah, what happened over there? You all right?
Yeah. You heard me do that?
Yeah, you said ow into your microphone, and we heard it in our headphones.
Yeah, what do you think that microphone does?
I have a callus on the bottom of my foot, and it hurts once in a while.
Oh, did you show it to the doctor?
Yeah, what did the doctor have to say about your callus?
Well, I just put some stuff on it.
Did they specify?
stuff?
Could you put barbecue sauce on it? I mean, is there a specific...
Vicks Vapor Rub.
Okay.
What?
Numb it, wouldn't it?
Whatever.
Gianfranco Ocampo, a top fan.
What a great name.
That is a fantastic name.
If I had a boy...
Gianfranco?
Ocampo. That'd be the middle name, too.
Ocampo. Granny, with the decade ending, which of the many decades you've lived through was your favorite?
The 90s.
The 1990s.
The 90s? What happened in the 90s?
That's when I was by myself having fun.
You did mean the 1990s, right?
I'm not sure. What is a decade? 100 years?
10 years.
10 years?
Okay.
Well,
I presume your favorite 100-year period is the current one.
I'd say 80s and 90s were my best years.
Wow. That's hope for us, Vinny.
I say we got a long way to go then.
Yeah.
Ellen Bremma Erickson asks, Granny, what is your favorite Christmas song, and would you make a Christmas version of the Granny's Gang t-shirt?
I was thinking of that for something for a contest somehow.
A new logo for Granny's Gang?
Nah.
A Christmas themed.
I thought maybe you'd come up with something, Brian, but that's okay.
Well, I thought we were going to do that we did the Thanksgiving poem about The Undertaker, right? And now it's Christmas time. So I think next week it should be The Undertaker Christmas poem.
Okay, we'll do that.
You know what we should do is we should do that, but we would read them on the Christmas show when you were drinking. See if you could get through the poetry.
All right. See how it
I'll
goes.
think about that one.
Shahar Davidson asks, Granny, who is your favorite singer or a band?
Elvis, of course.
Yeah, Shahar. Elvis.
Shahar must be new.
I guess so. Adam Verona wants to know, do you remember where you were when John Lennon was killed?
Shoot, I wasn't even too interested in him for some reason, so I don't even remember.
All right. Anthony R. Gonzalez, what's your most memorable mall Santa experience, Granny?
I've never been to a Santa at the mall. Never.
Really?
None of your kids have, or grandkids, or great grandkids?
We had some neighbors one time that he dressed up as Santa and came over to the house
That's a good memory.
for the kids.
Yeah, I bet they had a great time.
That was nice.
Hey, I got a Santa tip for everybody that a buddy of ours told us here today. They took their kid to the mall to get Santa pictures. And it's like a 4-block line,
Yeah.
4-block long line. And so they left the mall and they went across the street to Cabela's. And there was a Santa there and 0 people in line. And so they got their Santa picture for free, I might add. The picture was free on top of everything else. And they got like some Cabela's gimmicks. Yeah, so forget the mall, everybody. It's overrated.
Esai Saldana. And first of all, thank you, Esai, for including a pronunciation guide. I really do appreciate that. Question for all, what is your favorite holiday treat? Hot buttered rum.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Brian, do you have an answer there? Or?
How about you, Brian?
Whatever. Chocolate cake.
Okay. How festive.
I don't.
That's all I
really
eat
have-
is chocolate.
I don't really have a favorite.
I don't want any
They're all-
peppermint or
They're all good.
rum. Pie.
Pie's delicious.
Hate pie.
I made pie for Thanksgiving where the crust came out super perfect and the filling was essentially juice. It was a bad pie. It's spilling everywhere.
What are you making a pie for?
Because
All your wife does is bake 24/7. Why don't you say, can you make a pie next time? Right?
you are right.
Okay, so
The funny
A cookie
one
pie.
year I made pies for people. It was just when I was deep in unemployment, had nothing else to do. And unfortunately, those pies turned out great.
what year was that? Prior to doing this show?
I was doing this show, but hardly anything else.
That's not deep unemployment.
Well, I was still collecting unemployment despite what you were paying me. So therefore,
Well, I mean, don't blame me for
the
that.
point is, Brian,
Yeah.
I had more time than I have now. And I made pies for Christmas, and sadly, they turned out very good. And so some people now demand pies.
She just told him, I really didn't bake it. I bought it at the store. Then they won't ask anymore.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
Dan Kivett.
Oh, God, one more. I'm going forever.
Granny, have you ever punched someone?
Oh. When I was a teenager, I had a habit of punching people in the tummy.
What a lovely teenager you must have been.
Mostly guys.
Well, that's good.
That's all I remember punching.
Okay, so the answer, Dan Kivett, is yes, she has punched someone.
Yes, I have.
Brian, you awake over there?
Yeah, I'm busy.
What do you want me to do? Should I ask another question?
Yeah, do one more.
You said one more. Vince Miller says, Hi, Granny. I was wondering if you ever owned a pet bird. Me and my girlfriend have a pet cockatiel named Jib Jab.
Yes, I did. We found a little canary. We were sitting at watching a ball game, and one of them landed on our shoulder.
What?
Yeah.
Are you
and
Snow White?
we took it home, and I had that for
One of the dwarves.
I've had that for a couple of years, and it somehow or other I might have forgot to feed it or something, but it kind of fell over.
Wait. Hold on a second. Do I really want her to tell that story again, Vinny?
I'll leave it up to you.
Okay, so
Your show.
you were walking and a bird landed on your shoulder.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
No, we were sitting there watching the game, and it just landed on the shoulder.
Okay, so bird landed on your shoulder. Okay. Then what?
So happy I asked one more.
We took it home and got a cage.
Okay,
for
so what do
it.
you whoa. You took the bird home. Like the bird sat on your shoulder, but then just kind of sat there, and so as you got up it didn't move?
We just grabbed it.
Oh, so you grabbed it and you held it in your hand and took it
I'm
home.
not sure, Brian.
Okay.
I just know it went home and was in a cage for some time.
Okay, so you took the bird home, you put it in a cage, and then you forgot that you had it.
I'm not sure what happened to it, but it kind of dropped off
It kind of dropped off.
like I did with my fish.
Is there a possibility it just
sort of
flew away?
shriveled away, kind of drop off.
I was never very good with pets.
That's clear.
What happened to your fish?
I changed the water and it was too hot.
So you had a fish and you changed the water and you put hot water in there.
No, I didn't know it was going to be too hot, but that fish just jumped out of the bowl and that was it.
Okay, so you presume the water was too hot because the fish jumped out of the bowl when you put it in the bowl.
Yeah,
And you didn't put it back in the bowl.
it died.
You just left it out when it jumped out?
I can't remember. I just know it jumped out of the bowl.
I hope PETA's not listening. Well, thank God we asked that last one, Vinny.
You're not going to like my report tonight anyway.
Wow, that's
I'm going to like it better than that
a
last
perfect
story.
segue.
Let's do this.
Are you ready?
Hell yeah, I'm ready.
I am so tired of some of these things.
Join the club.
I found the 205 with Rush versus Birch.
You know what's funny, Granny? I think 205 Live may be canceled. Does it
No,
still
I don't-
exist? Find out, Vinny. No, it does. It's still, okay, you're right. Rush versus Birch. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Danny Birch, duh. Yeah.
Much fast moves. Chim Styles by Rush.
Excuse me.
Jim Styles?
I thought you said Chimp Styles.
Gymnastic style.
Jim
Oh.
Styles, okay.
Uppercut, forearm crash, back, elbow punch. I can't read my own writing. Rope on Birch.
Rope on Birch?
I can't.
Did Dr. Seuss write this?
Anyway, they go back and forth, and I don't know what happens. Rush winds up laying on the mat, and Birch takes the belt and kisses it, but it didn't say who won the dumb thing.
It appears Leo Rush defeated Danny Birch via disqualification.
DQ.
It was 2 days ago on WWE.com.
Yes.
So Rush lost his title?
No, it was a disqualification.
Oh.
Leo Rush retained his title.
How come they didn't show that? They just went and from there he was kissing the belt and they just jumped to something else.
Well, because Angel Garza ran down and attacked Rush
Oh, I thought that
and
was
Birch
I thought that was the same guy.
for the disqualification. You thought that Garza was the same as Danny Birch?
Okay, then there was Hornswoggle and Latarto or something.
El Torito?
El Torito.
El Torito.
Thank you, Vinny.
Yeah, and El Torito come out
It's like a
in
quiz show every week.
in a devil outfit with a red devil outfit with a tail and all.
He's not a devil, he's a bull. That's what Torito means. Bull in Espanol.
A little bull.
Well, look, he had horns. Oh,
Yeah, bull.
Well, the devil has horns and a tail, and
Well,
he's
he
red.
does, Granny, but so does a bull.
Well-
The word Torito in Spanish means bull.
I don't know that.
Well, I'm telling you that. So he's a bull. He's not the devil. He's the little
Okay.
bull.
Then they had about 4 guys on outside, and they kept coming in, and they had little chairs and little
Oh, it's
tables
WLC.
and little ladders and big ladders and
Yes.
that crazy thing.
He does look devilish.
I'm sure he does.
Oh,
but
look
he's
at
a
it
bull.
here.
So who won?
I don't know.
You got a hell of a report this week. That's 2 matches in a row. You have no idea who won.
Well, that's not going to be the last one because they just go away.
It's like a theme this week. Okay, what's next?
Okay, then we have NXT, Killian and Dunn. Punches out of the ring, sub-hold, kicking back, twisting arms and fingers, frog jumps, crossbody Sore lungs, elbow on top
Whoa,
of head.
whoa, hold
Sore
wait.
lungs?
Sore lungs.
Was someone vaping?
Well, it's the body pushing hurt the lungs.
Okay.
Brian, I'm gonna punch you right in the lungs.
Well, there's a lung blower.
I suppose that's true. All right.
Yes.
Miss kicks, German suplex,
Oh.
power bomb, turnbuckle chumps. Killian wins that one. I give it a 6.
All right, so you know who won.
Gotta finish.
Then I have Baszler versus Kai. Punch out a ring, subhold, kick in the back, twisting arms and fingers, frog jumps, cross body, sore lungs, elbow on top of head.
Are you just repeating your same notes? There were sore lungs in 2 matches?
Missed kicks, German suplex, power bomb.
This sounds like the same match.
I did it on purpose.
You think I wasn't going to notice that?
You stayed her whole week.
Granny, I would not have noticed except sore lungs. You've never said that before.
Kidding.
No, dead giveaway.
Well, anyway, I don't even know who won that one.
Oh.
No, Baszler wins.
I thought you were going to say, done.
Yeah, Baszler wins.
See if we were listening.
I'm going to give that a 3, but I did that on purpose because that's exactly the way things are. Same.
They are very similar.
A lot of them are repetitive.
Yes.
Okay, then Friday night. Oh, I hated this one. Friday night SmackDown. I actually didn't watch it, so I came back in. And they had Mandy and Alexa.
Yes.
Alexa wins that one. I didn't write that one up. But then they had the one with Reigns versus McIntyre. That was the most confusing mess I've ever seen.
Especially because McIntyre wasn't in the match, Granny. It was Baron Corbin.
What? They kept... No, that's what... They said McIntyre.
Well, McIntyre's on Raw, not SmackDown.
And he wouldn't be on Friday night.
No, he's never on Friday night.
Well, anyway, so it was such a mess. And Shane was outside the ring. And every time the attorney's head, Shane would come in and beat up on Reigns. And they just beat the heck out of that poor guy. I just didn't get this one at all. So I guess I must have had the wrong whatever.
Well, did you get the dog food at least?
The what?
Where they poured dog food all over him at the
yeah,
end?
I did. Yeah, I saw that one
Okay.
too.
Well, it's definitely not McIntyre, I can confirm.
I get that a 6.
That's a very high grade for something you hated so passionately.
Well, Dolph Ziggler was down there. That's kind of like Drew McIntyre.
Okay,
Starts
then
with a D, ends with an er.
Then I had WCW Thunder.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Who set you up for that?
82101.
What enemy?
You need to unfriend this person permanently.
It was 82101.
Wait a minute.
Dusty Rhodes
Oh, it
comes
wasn't?
out.
82101. WCW was dead. So it couldn't have been Thunder. Unless you got the date wrong.
Let me make my boo-boos. That's
Okay.
what I put. That's
All
what
right,
it had
whatever.
on.
Go ahead.
Okay, Dusty Rhodes comes out, and they take Flair and take him and make him kiss a donkey's behind.
It sounds better than Baron Corbin.
And then Dusty Rhodes has a bag with a picture of a donkey to pin the tail on, and
Impact?
chipsticks and mouthwash and
Chipsticks?
chopsticks and mouthwash.
Chapsticks.
And then Flair comes out in the video, and he's very angry, and they talk back and forth, and he tells Rhodes that he's his boss, and that he's going to make him fight Steiner. Then that's another one just ended. Then,
Stellar review.
Then this is the big one.
Oh.
It's
Excited.
November 24th, 2008. A casket match between Undertaker versus Big Show. And if I said this one before, I don't care. I'm doing it again.
That's the spirit.
I'm sure they wrestled 1,000 times, Granny. I'm sure this one is new.
Wow. Big back and forth match. Undertaker gets most of the blows. At one point, Big Show tells the refs, open the casket. He throws Undertaker in. He was to come over and close the casket, but he stood in the middle of the ring, kind of like he wasn't ready to, and sad to have to close the casket. So he walks over, starts to open the casket, and Undertaker sticks his foot out. And he gets out of the casket, and more back and forth, and he then Undertaker throws big show into the casket, and he goes to close it, and he gets out. So they keep going back and forth, and they're finally outside the stage, or the ring, and there's a casket standing up. And they go back and forth, and Undertaker throws Big Show into the standing up casket. I give that a 10.
10.
Yeah.
A 10.
That's what I call wrestling, and that was fun.
A casket match with The Undertaker and The Big Show?
That was
What year was this?
Wow.
Let's see, what year was that?
2008.
November 24th, 2008.
Must have been Survivor Series.
I would think so.
This wrestling nowadays it just kills me. I just can't take it.
Well, Granny, listen.
Crap.
Well, you ain't the only one, Granny, but there's a lot of over 50s that watch wrestling nowadays. It's their biggest demographic. Do you know that?
I can't believe it.
I can't either.
I can't believe these people letting their little kids go. I mean, it's just teasing them or teaching them to be roughnecks. I just can't understand it.
Well, Granny,
Sorry about that.
the world's doomed.
I know.
That's my job. It doesn't even have to endorse this roughneckism.
I guess so. It's always something weird that makes the most money.
Sure is,
Well,
Granny.
that's true.
All right, anything else?
No.
Vinny's looking up this match right now.
Trying to find if I can find Dave's star rating off in 3 minutes.
Oh, I could find it in... Oh, yes, Ken.
Oh, wait a minute. I got something else.
I just saw a WrestleCrap article that said March 21st of 2001 as well.
March 21st of 2001?
She said 8/21.
Yeah, she said August.
Oh, okay, March.
Yes. All right. What else do you have, Granny?
I've got 10 wrestlers that murdered
Oh boy, do we really want
10
to?
wrestlers that murdered...
somebody.
Maybe we just say thank you for that contribution.
No, let me hear this.
Nah, I'm not going to read it.
Why did you even bring it up then?
Because I decided I couldn't read it. I couldn't read my writing, so forget
Oh,
it.
my God. All right.
Dave gave Taker versus Big Show in a casket match 1 star.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Now Granny's turned on Dave.
The best match on that show.
Wait a minute. There was one other thing.
Oh.
Remember this thing with the Undertaker and what's his name? Stone Cold?
Yes.
I listened to that for a while, and you know what? I got bored with it. Because I don't really care how it all led up to what he was, but I'm just interested in his matches. I don't care.
You don't want to see Mark Calloway.
Yeah, you don't care about the guy that plays
You
the
wanna see
Undertaker.
the
You just want to see the
Undertaker.
Undertaker, right?
Yeah, I just want the Undertaker. I don't care how he got there or what the whole story was,
Wow.
but I just want him where he was.
All right, Granny. Well, watch some more Undertaker for next week.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Hope your toe feels better.
Okay.
I'll send some more pics to you.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Adios. Well, that right there ends all of the excitement here on this show today. Because now we have to talk about NWA World Championship Wrestling.
Due to contractual obligations. we
Which,
will-
honest to God, the most historic moment on this show was a total nothing happening thing on TV.
It's famous. It's very famous.
Very famous.
And when it gets on the show, it happens. It's short and disappears, and life moves on.
Does it ever move on?
So, if for some twisted reason you do feel like watching this episode of NWA World Championship Wrestling,
Don't.
November 19th, 1988, we begin. We get a warning before the show starts. Presented in the most complete form possible due to original production technical difficulties. So Jim Ross is about to interview Sting in the ring in an arena somewhere When Paul Ellering shows up, Sting goes after him. The Road Warriors attack Sting. He catches them coming in. He runs wild on both of them until finally they overwhelm and swarm him. Geeks hit the ring. They fail to save. Finally, Bam Bam Bigelow and the Midnight Express and others clear the ring.
Whoop-de-doo.
It is announced. Apparently, there's been like an entire bracket of the U.S. Tag Team titles. We're down to the finals now. The finals will be held December 7th in Chattanooga at Clash of the Champions, as it turns out, Seasons Beatings.
That what December 7th is?
Yes.
All right, I was a little confused.
They never announced the Seasons Beatings December 7th in Chattanooga. They would say it's in Chattanooga. Later, it's in December 7th. Later, it's on the Clash. And you had to, like, draw these clues and put it all together to figure out they're all talking about the same thing.
That's right, because Starrcade is December 26th. That is the day after Christmas. A Monday.
A Monday.
Yeah, wow.
Yes.
Times have changed.
Have they ever? So we begin here with Bob Emery and Trent Knight versus one of the teams in the finals for the U.S. Tag Team titles, the Ron Simmons Eddie Gilbert Express.
Yes.
I made that name up. But
They put an inset promo on the screen where Gilbert explains that they are going to the finals because apparently the sheep herders beat them via cheating.
used a foreign object.
It was determined that they'd used a foreign object.
Yes.
My question is how? Replay?
I don't
What
know.
about every goddamn time the Russian assassins use an object, and then they take it out of their mask, which is caught on camera every last single time? Anyway, the sheep herders are out of the tournament. They are out of the company. They are on their way to WWF, where they will begin licking the heads of children as the friendly bushwhackers.
That is all fact.
There's a lot of changes afoot here in the NWA, which means good time to stop watching.
So,
A profoundly boring match.
the highlight of this match,
There was none.
Ron Simmons is working over somebody's arm. He grapevines the arm between his own legs. Then he wraps one of his legs behind the other and stands on one leg. That's his hold.
Dude, all you need to know is they're working over limbs of these jobbers.
Bob Emery and Trent Knight.
Why? And it goes on for hours. This was where I decided I am so over this
The
old
first
NWA.
Yes.
Can't we just go back and watch all the NWA pay-per-views or all the clashes and everything?
Maybe
do
we
we
should do
have
that.
to watch the TV shows?
Maybe we
This
should just do
sucks.
that. The announcers plug the debut of the Commandos on the show.
Speaking of bad stuff,
The Commandos.
God.
And also at Starrcade, there will be a bunkhouse stampede. Nothing happens, I wrote. Simmons pins, I think, Knight with a shoulder block. Nikita Koloff versus Terry Jones.
So Ivan Koloff is a great promo, but they had him do commentary, basically. And he's not a great commentator because he just talked nonstop the entire match without taking a breath. And he went from promo mode to calling the match mode and back to promo mode. And I actually thought it was a negative. Ivan Koloff talking was a negative.
Yeah. I'm not sure he inhaled for this match. He was talking the entire time. Paul Jones is afraid to sign a chain match or any other kind of match with me and Nephew Nikita. Nephew Nikita has lost 20 pounds but kept all his strength. Nikita wins with a sickle.
All right, so for those of you that don't know, Nikita's wife was diagnosed with lymphoma, and I believe this may have been his last week for a long time. He never makes it to Starrcade. Wife passes away over the summer. I don't even think he's back till like
Years pass.
years pass.
It's I think it's the Sting and Luger versus Steiner's match. I mean, it's a big.
Should we do the spoiler for who the new partner of Ivan Koloff ends up being with Nikita Koloff gone?
I have zero recollection.
Well, I don't blame you. The Junkyard Dog
Oh dear.
teamed with Ivan Koloff.
Oh.
And, you know, I'm going to spoil all of this match at Starrcade. So, there's a stipulation that they sign. It is the Russian Assassins versus Ivan and Nikita. That's the scheduled match. And the storyline is that if Ivan and Nikita win, the Assassins must unmask and Paul Jones must retire.
Both of those must happen.
Yes.
A lot riding on this
Yes.
match.
So, as noted here, Nikita's gone. He is replaced by the Junkyard Dog. They do the match. The Assassins win. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, I guess because they didn't want you to feel ripped off by having, like, the replacement do the job, they actually beat Ivan and not the Junkyard Dog. What?
I think Dog sticks around for a while. So it's not like he came in just for this one show.
That's the story.
Yeah. Well, here on this episode of NWA World Championship Wrestling, it's time for the Starrcade 88 True Grit with 2 T's update. They do announce the show will be the day after Christmas, Monday, December 26th. Signed for this show, the first Bunkhouse Stampede, a come-as-you-are street fight battle royal, essentially, with Dr. Death, Dick Murdoch, and Abdullah the Butcher. The Battle of the Midnight Expresses. As Brian noted, the Kolofs versus the Russian Assassins with the masks and Paul Jones' career on the line. They are working on putting together Rick Steiner versus Mike Rotunda for the TV title. And in the main event. So it's 1988. It opened with Luger turning on the Horseman and feuding with Flair. There's a brief period of time in the spring where Sting had a great title match with Flair at the Clash of Champions, and it was Sting versus Flair for a month or two. And since then, it has been Lex Luger versus Ric Flair all year long. So the main event for Starrcade is Lex Luger versus Ric Flair for the 93rd time.
Yeah.
Next week, though, they will announce a special stipulation.
What the hell is it? I have absolutely no idea.
I don't either.
They do a match. There's a finish.
I know they find a way to do
And
a
they
fuck
move
finish
on.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
We get Lex
Oh,
Luger.
you know what it is? Title can change hands via DQ.
Okay.
Yeah.
We get a Lex Luger match. Lex Luger and Sting versus Bryan Adams,
Not that one.
or the other one, and Jerry Price.
Yeah, this one's way better than the actual Bryan Adams.
Oh, is he now?
Yeah.
He goes for a lockup. He falls down, and Sting, 1988 version of Sting, just shouts, "He's hyper! He's so hyper!" Adams, every time he hits the ropes, his head nearly falls off.
Yeah.
He deadweights Lex Luger on a body slam.
Hey.
Fortunately, it's Lex Luger, so got him up there. Eventually, they hit him with the Stinger Splash and the Torture Rack for the finish. Sting, by the way, his running big splash here before he blew out his knee, that should have been his finish. He just runs and jumps 80 feet in the air and splashes this guy.
I thought this was a perfectly fine little match. The jobbers mostly sucked.
I'll say.
But, like, Sting has the charisma of 1,000 men. I could watch Sting matches for, like, hours.
Yes.
It's just fun.
He's very fun.
We are missing men like Sting.
There is no one.
in 2019.
No one like 1988 Sting.
There's no
in
one like
2019.
Sting.
You don't understand.
We have way too many Lugers.
You know what? This is profound and accurate.
Thank you.
So
It's my job.
at this point in time, when I was done, I did something I have not done in a while, which was to dub Bryan Adams the worst wrestler of all time of the week.
Wow.
Little did I know what I was in for. David Crockett then interviews Sting and Lex.
This guy's out of his mind. Out of his mind.
Sting says the Warriors are messing with him. They tried to break his neck, but they failed. Do you know why?
Because he's Sting.
Because I'm me.
That's what he said. That was his excuse.
He can't say what the Road Warriors are doing to people, so he makes fart noises instead. He mentions something about Dusty Rhodes and Greensboro tonight. Then Lex calls out the Road Warriors also for Greensboro. I have no idea what the match is.
I don't know, but there's a show in Greensboro. I know that.
That's
So
established.
if you're in Greensboro, buy your tickets because Sting's going to be there.
And Lex says he already knows what the stip for Starrcade will be. He guarantees the fans there will be a winner.
Well, there is a winner, all right.
It's not him. The Commandos versus Randy Mulkey and Eddie Sweat.
The only way the Commandos could have been worse is if they'd worked Commando. Literally.
It's Ray Candy, who I actually recognized on sight, which is how much my knowledge of 1980s workers is growing. I did not recognize the other one. It is Grizzly Boone, who, if you like watching big giant men wrestle, he did matches with John Tenta in All Japan. They
were not very good.
They were not very good, but you know what? They were in constant motion.
Well,
no one laid on the mat in a chin lock here.
There were no chin locks. So the reason, so they came in, and they're going to be in this bunkhouse stampede at Starrcade. So they had to give these guys a win over two geeks. Mm-hmm. So they come in here, they win this match, and I swear to God, I don't think they ever won a match again.
Probably not.
Ray Candy's dead in 5 years, heart attack. I have absolutely no idea whatever happened to Grizzly Boone. If Carl Stern knows,
yeah,
I'd like to know. I don't know if anybody knows.
They won here with a double running splash.
Yes.
David Crockett interviews Flair. Flair says Starrcade is the biggest event in all of sports, and wrestlers are the highest paid athletes in the country.
I don't think that's an accurate statement.
I believe he may have been hyperbolic there. He's talking about it as manager Jim Dillon.
That's his name.
He represents
Actually, it's
him
not his name, but that's...
And the championship. He signed the contract, and then they told him there would be a special stip, and they would explain it next week. Says Mike Tyson and Sugar Ray Leonard both call me champ, and it doesn't get any better than this. So they had Starrcade t-shirts for sale, and their way to sell these was to put them on every cameraman or every other tech geek on site, and they would cut to these people wearing these shirts. These shirts were so ghetto. They looked 10 years old for a shirt promoting a show in a month. Crockett interviews Jim Dillon and Barry Windham. Dillon complains about Sir Oliver Humperdinck. He's very busy managing both the U.S. champion and the world champion. And every time he finishes his duties with the world champion, he goes to set things up for the U.S. champion. Oliver Humperdinck is already there. Wyndham talks about Bam Bam jumping him from behind, always after he's had a long, grueling title defense. Challenges him to meet him face to face. Dillon concedes that Bam Bam Bigelow has hit his splash on Barry Windham, and at his weight in a match, it might have finished him. But next time they meet, it will be a fair fight. You'll have to get Windham down on the mat first, and I'm not sure you can do that. Bam Bam Bigelow versus Keith Steinborn. Bam Bam wins with a gourd buster.
Bam Bam's working holds on Keith Steinborn.
He is.
You're a 400-pound monster doing a squash match on NWA television, and you're putting him in arm bars?
He did.
Then he just totally lost me. Humperdinck shows up. Humperdinck is not a very good promo, but at least what he said made sense. And that is that we don't have to jump Barry Windham from behind. But what we have to do is we need to humiliate and embarrass him every week.
Yes.
And that will force him to give Bam Bam Bigelow a shot at his title.
Yes.
Humperdinck says, I know how to push these buttons. They go to Bigelow. He sounds like Tank Abbott. He's both in voice and promo ability.
He's just screaming.
It's atrocious. Atrocious.
The U.S. title will be his, he screams. Paul E. Dangerously says at Starrcade, they will prove they are the only team worthy of the name The Midnight Express. And then the original Midnight Express versus Brett and Brad Holiday. Here's everything I wrote down. Nothing happens. OME win with high-low.
This was all right, not much to it, high-low finish. Paul took a call during the match, needs to put that thing on silent. Could you do that back then? I don't even remember. I don't think you could put a cell phone on silent.
I doubt it.
I think you got so few calls.
You are.
It didn't matter.
You're paying so much for the cell phone. You
were practically on silent.
You would never turn it down. The college scoreboard is next. I'm sad they edited that off. It may have been more exciting than the show. So, the original Midnight Express is doing a promo. Here's where the technical difficulties hit. Basically, the entire top half of the screen is a big blur.
Yes.
You can hear everything fine.
Welcome to analog tape.
Yes.
Something some people still cling to.
Me too.
Move on.
So Dangerously says Jim Cornette spent every day as a kid asking truck drivers if they were his dad. He doesn't really like you, Bobby Eaton. If he did, he'd get you a speech therapist. Stan Lane has a better future at Chippendales than he does of beating the original Midnight Express. He points to Dennis Conway and says, this is the lethal weapon. Turns to Randy Rose. This is the messenger of mayhem. And he's going to take his size 12 boot and knock your teeth out. And you will admit, this is the only team worthy of the name Midnight Express.
Heyman's a great talker, great heel.
Yes.
What a shocker.
A highlight on the show is Paulie Dangerously. The Varsity Club versus Mike Jackson and Rick Anderson.
Back to the lowlights. God damn, this match was boring.
Rick Anderson's horrible.
Just a boring match. They throw Anderson outside. Sullivan stomps on him. The ref just stands there. Finally, they suplex this guy. This is so atrocious. The only thing that saved it was afterwards we got a Kevin Sullivan promo. And it was a great promo. And the heels are two big, tough, mean badasses, and they know it. And they're telling stupid jokes, and they're laughing at each other. And Doc actually cuts a lucid promo, I think, for the first time ever. And basically, they say, you have to go through us to find out how tough you are. What a tagline. It's my favorite team.
They're mostly,
too bad they sucked.
They were mostly Bryan.
Dude, they were horrible on this show.
Well.
I'm not talking in general. I'm talking, dude, you can't have an exciting match with Mike Jackson on the other side of the ring.
Well, here's the problem. Mike Jackson was almost never in there.
Tag the fucking guy in. It's fake. The fuck are you talking about?
The highlight for Mike Jackson on the show was when Jim Ross said Dr. Death was turning him into a human-like pretzel. Not a pretzel-like human. Human-like pretzel.
No, that's right.
So he's a pastry product.
He turned him into a human-like pretzel. That's correct. Not a pretzel-like human.
A pretzel-like human would be a human shaped like a pretzel.
No, but he turned him into a pretzel. But it was human-like.
He turned him into a bread.
Ha! He tied him in a bready knot.
So eventually Rick Anderson tags in.
How dare you question Jim fucking Ross of all people?
Rick Anderson has zero body and worse gear.
Where are we?
Still in the Varsity Club match.
I was done with that a long time ago.
Black singlet and powder blue boots. He's got black khakis on with a belt. He's bumped on his ass about 15 times.
Don't make fun of guys wrestling in khakis, Vinny.
He's so horrible that eventually Doc has to just, I say quasi-shoot, because Doc could have killed this guy, obviously, if he wanted to.
I gotta fucking shoot. Throw him into the corner to tag in Mike fucking Jackson. Why is this so hard?
Doc suplexed him a bunch. They actually wouldn't let him tag out. At one point, they went into the ropes like,
let's make sure we have a bad match.
Yeah,
Don't let this guy get
They
out.
wanted to beat him more. Eventually, they pinned him with a butterfly suplex. And then they had the promo. It was great. Although I will say that Doc called it not only Rick Steiner, but also the Road Warriors. This heel turn's already lasting. Speaking of which, David Crockett interviews the Road Warriors at ringside. Hawk says, thanks everyone for all the hate mail.
It's quite the inspiration, he said.
It has inspired us to maim and mess up lives more than we already are. And the fans all go, yay! They say Sting and Luger are smarter than we thought. Our mistake. But when we make a mistake, we compromise by doing something about it. So tonight there's going to be some ripped face. And it'll be you, not us. Animal starts talking about Dusty. I made a name out of beating legends like you. You're going to find out what we're made of December 7th. And then they all just walk away. And the camera stays on David. And there's a pause of like 3 or 4 seconds. And then Dusty Rhodes walks into frame from the exact same spot. And I'm thinking to myself, that's bizarre. Because any idiot would know
They must have crossed paths.
they just like bumped into each other. Well, Dusty, it turns out there's a point to this. Dusty just immediately says, we don't know how to wait till Chattanooga. He jumps in the ring and challenges Animal to fight. So Animal comes out.
Let me talk about this, all right? I'm going to start from the end and go backwards, okay?
Sure.
So if you've never heard, this is a very, very, very famous moment where the Road Warriors attack Dusty Rhodes and they jab a spike into Dusty Rhodes' eye. And he bleeds all over the place. And the backstory is, when Turner bought the company, they decreed no more blood. And Dusty was like, no more blood? I'm Dusty Rhodes. So he immediately books an angle where the Road Warriors jab a spike into his eye, and he bleeds all over the place. And Turner is furious, and so they let him stay through Starrcade, and then they fire him. He goes to WWF and puts on polka dots, and he's the American Dream. Okay? Mm-hmm. What actually happens in this famous angle is Dusty gets in the ring. He challenges them to a fight. Animal gets in the ring. They have a short fight. Dusty is punching him. Hawk jumps in the ring. Hawk and Dusty have a short brawl. An Animal calmly gets down. He unscrews one of the spikes from the corner pads. He bonks Dusty in the head. Dusty falls down. They pretend they put the spike in his eye. Dusty's bleeding all over. All the baby faces run down. The Road Warriors run away. Dusty screams that he's blind. They go to a commercial break. They come back for Rick Steiner versus Joe Cruz.
Life?
There's no replay.
No.
There's no mention of what just happened. It was like it didn't even happen.
Life just went on.
Now, granted, near the end of the show, and let me repeat that. Near the end of the show, because it wasn't even the end of the show, the Road Warriors do an interview about this with a bloody spike. And then they go back to the ring for a fucking Fantastics match. This is the most nothing happening legendary moment I may have ever seen.
It's amazing because it is legendary and famous, and this is the era where I was watching every single week, and this was etched in my brain. And in my brain, over 30 years, it got cooler and cooler. In real life, I'm watching it now. It comes from out of nowhere. It's over before you can even figure out what's going on, and they just move on.
Oh, yeah.
It's so lame.
I didn't even know it was this show, but when Dusty came out right after the Road Warriors, where they could have just bumped into each other, and he's wearing a white shirt,
Yeah.
I immediately thought, oh my God, is this it? And then it was over.
They do replay the thing later. From the moment they hit him with a spike till the moment the babyfaces chase him out of the ring, 22 seconds.
Yep.
It's short.
Legend.
It is legendary. So, with that out of the way, it's Rick Steiner wrestling Joe Cruz. It's
Fans are dead.
any other Saturday Night Squash. The announcers are bored.
It's not even that. Nothing's happening in the match, and then Rick goes for a cover, but he pulls the guy up at 2.
Yeah.
Goes for the... This is a babyface.
Yeah.
He keeps pulling the guy up at 2. Then he throws Teddy Long on top of the guy and counts the pin. Like Teddy Long beat this guy. Then he hits the belly to belly. He gets the win. At this moment, I wrote, "Dear God, this is the worst babyface turn ever."
Oh, did you?
Then he cuts a promo where I wrote, "This is death. This is brutal. Usual idiot promo." I hesitate to even say this, but it's just history we're recapping. He's talking about the match with Rotundo. He just keeps calling him Retardo. Mm-hmm. Tony Schiavone is trying to get him to say Rotundo, and he keeps saying Retardo.
Yes.
And then when, it can't get any worse, it actually gets worse. As he begins to cheerlead and lead the fans in chanting Retardo.
Not just the fans. The children. And
Dude.
there's a close-up of a 5-year-old girl pumping her fist and chanting along. Yeah, at this point, I simply wrote, "Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear," over and over again.
Do you realize that 4 weeks ago, Rick Steiner was the biggest, scariest badass about to break away from the Varsity Club? If you had... I don't even get it. I don't even think Vince McMahon could have screwed this up. I know, Ken. You haven't been watching this. Vince could not have screwed this up.
It's amazing how quickly the air gone out of his sails.
This is the biggest screw up I ever saw. It's mind-blowing. Remember, I don't like to repeat my material. It was only a few weeks ago I said, you know what? They were thinking of putting the title on Rick Steiner, but then it was decided that it was a bad idea. Why, I said, was it a bad idea? Look at this guy. He's big, he's powerful, he's a badass, he just looks like a killer. The fans are super behind him. Why? What's wrong with this? Now, this is way worse. Yes, Ken?
Didn't you say the next week when he cut a promo, you said...
I did say that. This is before that. Okay. I'm talking about before they messed this all up.
Okay.
Am I wrong, Vinny?
No, I'm just you.
God, how did they screw up Rick Steiner to this degree?
I don't know.
This was painful.
So David Crockett has gone to the hospital to check on Dusty. They remembered something happened to Dusty. So Jim Ross is there to interview Jim Cornette. Cornette says, no kid will ever ask if you're their daddy, Paul E., because even if a woman would, you can't. And he holds up his finger crooked, as opposed to being a Hugh G. erection.
You'll never guess, Vinny. But of course, my wife walks into the room right when Rick Steiner starts chanting retardo.
Oh, even better.
And the very next thing she sees is Jim Cornette talking about this guy's cock not working.
That's also when I got here and walked into the office, the exact moment Cornette made this joke, and Whitney just looks me in the eye and says, "There's some real quality television."
It's just...
And yep. So this leads to the Midnight Express versus Rip Morgan and Max Miles. Poor Rip Morgan.
He got left high and dry. Now he's doing jobs
just
like a geek.
So the main event for the season's beatings card is the Midnight Express versus Barry Windham and Ric Flair. It's the first time either Stan Lane or Beautiful Bobby will ever be in the ring with Flair. They took two of the Horsemen out. They're going to finish the last two off. And Cornette promises he will not interfere unless J.J. Dillon does. Got a line here about how Dennis Condrey has always been a great wrestler, but he was a great wrestler working Monday nights in Memphis making no money until they hooked up with Jim Cornette and Bobby Eaton. The Midnights win with a Sledge-O-Matic, which I believe is later renamed the Veg-O-Matic. This is a move where Stan grabs the guy in a bear hug and leans him back, and Bobby hits a big leg drop. Max Miles couldn't even get bear hugged right.
Sad.
The Road Warriors come back.
All right, this made the whole thing a little bit better because they got a bloody spike.
There's blood all over their hands.
Hands are covered in blood. Some people spike drinks, they say. What? We spike dreams.
That's what he said.
I'm like, honestly, spiking dreams is a lot better than spiking drinks.
So they replay the entire thing from start to finish. And then Animal gets a promo on Dusty. Maybe you stood a chance with both your eyes, he says, but not without one. December 7th, I'm going to finish the job. You may have no eyes at all. And then Hawk says, Dusty Rhodes, I got a new name for you. Popeye. Popeye Rhodes.
Actually, I didn't write down the exact line, but it was something like, I've got a new name for you, Popeye. Popeye Rhodes.
I botched the delivery.
No, he botched it. You did it right.
I see.
He botched his own joke. And then Paul Jones.
Ellering.
Oh, Ellering. Well, I don't care about him. He had not much to say.
Paul Ellering just said, we'll have a new charity for Dusty Rhodes. Everyone send money to the Legion of Doom. We'll make sure Dusty gets it.
Now Paul Jones has a promo. He can't believe these stipulations for Starrcade. Gotta keep banging the desk. I can't believe the stipulations for Starrcade. If my team loses, they must unmask and I must retire. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. There's no way the assassins will unmask, and I'm too young to retire. I have a song to sing.
He said that.
That's what he said.
I have a song to sing.
I have a song to sing. When I stopped wrestling, I knew I had something to offer the business, and I do. I'm smarter than Koloff thinks. I've got a special surprise. When the dust settles, you'll see the assassins walk out of the ring, and you'll see me the next week on this show. That's not just a promise, that's a threat to the Koloffs. I did a pretty good Paul Jones, if I do say so myself.
Practice makes perfect.
It does. I didn't bang the desk enough.
We need to get you a writing prop.
Yes.
It's important. The Fantastics versus Cruel Connection number 1 and number 2.
Hold.
A lot of holds. Jim Ross on commentary says, quote, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, the UTC Arena, Tony, on Wednesday, December the 7th, it may be something as explosive as what December 7th is known for. And there's a pause, and in case any of you were confused, he says, the attack on Pearl Harbor. Thank you, Jim. Then he adds, recapping the Dusty Rhodes thing, the gift of sight is such a precious one. I can only assume 2 hours into the show, the bourbon had kicked in.
Dude.
Then he says the Road Warriors are distasteful. Cruel Connection are fabulous jobbers. It's fun watching them get beat up. The Fantastics beat them with a cannonball.
And then the Fantastics get to close the show by doing a promo for Dusty about Dusty's match at the show.
That's exactly what happened.
Dude.
So, yeah.
God bless the guy. Time to go to the WWF.
That's the end of the show.
That's it, everybody. That may be the end of the be the end of the show on this show. For all I know. Luckily, Paul Jones saved it for me. That promo I got to cut for Paul Jones, that makes me want to keep going. 'Cause you know what? I also have a song to sing.
You do.
All right, we're out of time, everybody. Tomorrow, Observer Live, Observer Radio. Tuesday, Retro Rod Nitro 19 years ago this week. By the way, Christmas show's coming up. I'm sure you've heard. You got a few weeks. Maybe not a few weeks. You got a while. But make sure if you want to send a gag gift, nothing expensive, unless it's Jericho's wine or bubbly, we'll take that. Make sure you have it shipped from the actual, do it legally.
Yes,
You know what I'm
please.
saying?
Do whatever you're shipping.
Yeah, I'm not
Please do it legally.
I'm not an alcohol wine guy. I don't know the rules. So just whatever you're doing, make sure you do it legally. P.O. Box 426, Woodinville, Washington at 98072. That is Figure 4 Weekly. Post Office Box 426 in beautiful Woodinville, Washington. Not Bothell. Woodinville, Washington. 98072. Bothell High on lockdown tonight. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that.
Yeah. 8 cop cars, locked down. Kids playing volleyball in there. Some dude with a gun
Oh, dandy.
got apprehended right up the road there.
Oh, good thing I
Like-
drove right by it.
3 blocks. Dude, Paisley and I, when we got home tonight, the neighbors have Christmas lights. And so I took her out and we walked up the street and then we went up and we played at the playground at the top of the hill in the dark. We're just playing on the toys up there. I get home, my mom sends me a message, active shooter or something like that or something. Not an active shooter, but like he had a weapon. He had a gun. He didn't actually shoot, but he had a gun. And they tased him and apprehended him. And are you looking it up now?
See what's on Twitter. All they're talking about is a football player from Bothell.
Keep scrolling back to about 7 o'clock.